Hello and welcome to REDGUNSHOW. Playing one of my absolute favorite games for the Super Nintendo. You guessed it, Starfox. Not the later ones, not those bullshit-ass GameCube games that everyone likes to play. Starfox, the original not the first game named Starfox, because there was a Starfox for the Atari 2600, but it was just a little side-scrolling shooting game or whatever. I'm talking about Fox McCloud, Falco Lombardi, Peppy Hare, Slippy Toad, Starfox! Super Nintendo. This game has a real long history. Look at those 3D graphics, oh my god. Very long history in this game. So there was this guy in America, you were a young guy, he was like 18 or 19 when he got hired by Nintendo. He would, what did he do? I forget his name. You'll see it in the credits or whatever. But he was a programmer and he was interested in making video games. And so what he did was he made a small name for himself. He went to Nintendo, showed actually the man who created Mario and Zelda, Mr. Miyamoto, actually is the one that hired him ultimately. I believe that's the case. Like, personally hired him. What he did was he was tasked with he wanted to create 3D environments in games. He wanted to push the Super Nintendo to its absolute limits, and he did. So as a tech demo, he used a Game Boy. He used Game Boy hardware to make a 3D environment, and that's pretty much the precursor to Star Fox. All right, let me just explain my setup here on how I'm able to capture retro gaming console footage. I am not using an emulator. I will do my best to not use emulators for my taskings here. What I'm doing is I'm using a capture card, a high definition capture card, you know, that's HDMI ready and everything. And I'm using something called an S-card cable with an S-card to HDMI adapter. S-card is the format that's not in this country. I have to have them special ordered from the UK. If you are ever interested in doing so, do not buy the Japanese S-card cables. Or I would recommend against. I can't tell you what to do. You know, whatever. You got it. They are 21 pins, just as the regular S-card cables are, but they are in a different order. So that means they will not work unless you have a Japanese converter. That's specifically made to handle Japanese S-card cables. Now, a lot of this information, I'm telling you, is trial and error that over the past few months with everything. But anyway, yeah, this is definitely my favorite Super Nintendo game. This is Yoshi's Island, really. This is an on-rails shooter, as you can see. What that means is it will play the exact same every single time you play it. It's a forward-moving shooting game, not a side-scroller, not a top-scroller, or anything like that. It's a 3D graphics. This was the first game to pioneer the Super Effects chip. That's what the gentleman that was hired by Miyamoto himself helped create. He helped launch 3D graphics on the Super Nintendo. Now, there were a few games. I know I'm really sucking in this playthrough. I will explain that a little bit in a moment. Actually, I'll just say that now. I have a little bit of lag. Just a little bit. It's maybe 10 frames lag between my S-card cable, my HDMI, my S-card to HDMI converter, and my capture card. So it's maybe 10 frames at the most, maybe 5 frames lag between what I'm pressing and my action on screen. Oh, the reason I ultimately decided to go S-card instead of just buying composite splitters, even though they're way expensive online or whatever, just eBay, whatever, like 15-20 bucks a piece from the UK. The reason I did that was because the S-card broadcasts in true RGB. That's red, green, and blue. that's such a big deal because that's the only 3 colors that are truly broadcast on any TV. It's just a variation or of a combination of red, green, and blues. You know, but it's like parts per million as you deal with high definition. Man, yeah, that was the first boss. You'll see that in Starfox 64 as well, on the special route. Oh my god, 99%! I hate that shit. I've only been able to get a perfect run in this game one time in my entire life. But anyway, Starfox 64 is a really good game. Right now, there are 3 routes in this game. It's called Level 1, Level 2, and Level 3. Or easy, medium, and hard routes. I'm just doing the easy route for now. I've never beaten the hard route. I have beaten the medium route once in my life. It was actually within the past year I've done that. But yeah, the Super Effects chip. After the development of that chip that was ultimately put in this game, and when it was released, this game I've read. I don't remember it myself because I was too young. I didn't buy games when I was that little myself normally. This game was $100. I'm sorry, $99 MSRP upon its release. I did get it shortly after it was released though, because I did get it back in '93. I remember. I was the first one I knew that actually had this game. That was like a thing between me and my friends, my closest friends at the time. That we would like say if one of us bought a game and it was really good, the next, maybe the next person would go out and buy it themselves too. But I must say I normally had the best games that I knew of at least. Except for like Mortal Kombat, a lot of my friends would go out and buy Mortal Kombat 3. But that was a nice thing. We all didn't have to buy all the good games because at least one of us had it. So we could just like walk over to somebody else's house and play it. Play Mortal Kombat 3 for 6 hours straight, Try to do all the combos on each other. Oh man. But probably the other most notable game that uses the Super Effects chip is Yoshi's Island, which is Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island. The prequel where you control Yoshi the whole time. Escorting baby Mario back to his mama and papa. What's going on right now is this is like the cockpit view, or the arcade view, you could say. If I press select, it'll go back to the ship. There are three views in this game. It's close to your ship, far from your ship, and then this right here, this arcade cockpit view mode. It's really, I don't really need to show you that. I mean, I'm gonna go back to the regular view of my ship in a couple levels or whatever. But yeah, this is the game that it didn't get me into speedrunning per se, but it's the game. Whoa! What the hell was that about? Alright, sorry about that. Press the wrong button. It was the game that I've tried to speedrun myself. And at the time, I was using just the little bullshit Retro Duo controllers that came with the Retro Duo system. And it just did not work well for me, because those controllers do not work correctly. The button mapping is fine, it's just the stiffness of the controller. Yet, when you press down, it doesn't necessarily steer up, it steers like up to the left or up to the right. You have to hit it exact. And when you're doing 50 things on your controller within a couple of seconds, I don't have time to sit there and pinpoint my locations on the control stick or whatever, or on the D-pad rather. So I went out and bought a super nice little Pro gamepad controller for the Super Nintendo. A real one, not a bullshit knockoff one. Damn it. Not paying attention when I'm doing it. That's alright. Check that. So, I always got to like when I was actively speedrunning this game, I would get to about the 3rd level and either fuck up the boss, or fuck up at the boss, or the only other time I've gotten far enough, there's my boat, it's my ship, it's my plane, Harley, there we go, I got it right. I got far enough, I got just before Andros to the final, I don't know, hallway, the final tunnel, and I lost one of my wings. Yes, you know, that was a major setback. I just turned the game off after I didn't get him in one cycle. I have a routine with this game. When I get to the bosses, I'm not worried about it so much right now because I'm giving a live commentary as I'm playing it. But I beat Andros in one cycle. I have to. I absolutely have to. And I normally get between 95 and 100% on it really well. I normally get about at least 4 100s. And I didn't mean to press start there. I meant to actually have you guys read that, but that's alright. Next time. Whatever. What else can I say about the game? It's a good game. Holy shit, if you've never played Starfox, you've been living under a rock, or you're really young and didn't have a Super Nintendo when you were a child, like I did. This level right here, these are like missiles that are heading towards what's called the Great Fox. You know, that's like the home ship or whatever. Even though I'm like worlds away from it right now. Damn it. That's more like concurrent in the unreleased sequel to this game, Starfox 2 for the SNES, which there are leaked beta versions of it out there in the internet world for completely like cracked versions and everything. You can just download the emulator, download the ROM file or whatever. And I'm not doing so well on this run. You can tell because my teammates actually joined me back there. 2 of them, I have not seen that in probably over 10 years. Both of them actually joined me. Because, you know, if you get both of the missiles good, Slippy will usually come up and get with you on it. Another reason why I decided not to show you the animation of, or not to show you in the previous level going from the arcade mode to the full ship view mode is it's a needless animation. It slows down the game for it to do that. There's a couple reasons why I decided not to do that. It lags the game when you do that, and it adds time. And so I am in the extreme habit of playing this game as a speedrun. I don't want to deviate at all. You know, I don't want to get distracted too much from what I'm trying to do. Like I said, I know it's not a speedrun, it's just it's a long play, casual play or whatever. Having fun though. Just that angle I don't want to change up at all. There were a few other games that had the Super Effects chip. I don't know what any of them were really. I still hate it. I always hate that thing. I can't name anything off the top of my head except for I believe Killer Instinct was a Super Effects game. I believe it was. And maybe one of the later Kirby games, maybe like Kirby's, what's it called? I always get this wrong. Wings? Oh, I made it. It was the last game made for the Super Nintendo. It was Kirby's. It was like Kirby's Dream Land 3 or something or other. One of those titles. I don't remember what the hell exactly it was called. I never played the real version of it. I have it for the Kirby compilation for the Wii 20th anniversary edition that comes with it. I've never played the game itself on Super Nintendo other than like and an emulator. But I wish I knew more about it. I wish I could explain the architecture a little more to you. But basically what it is, it's just extra RAM in the game that allows like the Super Nintendo to draw these lines faster. Because none of this is pre-rendered, except maybe the background with the black and the stars that don't move, the set stars. That might be pre-rendered, quote unquote pre-rendered in the Super Nintendo game. But everything else is being drawn in real time, and that's outstanding for this game. Oh man, I don't have any bombs. I've already messed up my routine. That's alright. I don't need any bombs for this boss exactly. But I'll be alright. when I got this game when I was about 7 years old, I loved it immediately. I've always loved it. I was a Cub Scout when I was younger as well, and I had like visions of trying to like make an R-wing out of, you know, carving wood and stuff. You know, and thinking of a way of how I could fit the wings in and have them like turn, like how some toys have notches that only go one way or whatever, and if you turn it too far, it'll just snap out, and have like detachable wings like that. Man, this game is like a really big part of my my mindset when I was a young man. Still is, really. I'm not gonna lie to you. And that's my routine. See if I can get it. Ah, I missed it. I can't believe it. I can usually get this in one, you know, on the first rotation. I can only get it. Okay, there we go. The barrel rolls, quote unquote, air quote here, barrel rolls that you do, they do also deflect the shots and the bombs that are shot at you. Even though I think it's not really a barrel roll, it's more, what's it called? Arion roll, something to that effect. I'm sure somebody will correct me on that. No big deal. But just look at the 3D effects in this game. You know, that's all being drawn in real time. That's not a cutscene. That's not a palette or anything like that. That's the system drawing it right there. You know, with that scaling. You know, between the foreground and the background, both. You know, where the extreme foreground and, you know, the middle foreground scaling